Welcome to the AI Brief from the YPO Technology Network. I'm Stephen Forte, so here is a number that should reframe how you think about AI spending. A company just raised $1.5 billion by promising to run other people's models, not build its own. No frontier breakthrough, no new chatbot, just plumbing. And by the end of these 10 minutes, I want you to walk away with one idea reset in your head. The strategic AI question is no longer which model you use. It's where the model runs and who pays for the tokens. Let me start with the company that just made that point for me. Last week, Baseten, an AI inference startup, meaning the company that runs models in production for other businesses, closed a round of roughly $1.5 billion. The strange part is the price. Some investors came in valuing the company at $13 billion, others at 11, split priced in the same round. And here's the kicker: at 5 months ago, Baseten raised money at a $5 billion valuation. So in under 6 months, this company appreciated about 160% for serving models it did not invent. Inference, by the way, is just the cost of actually running a model after it's trained, every single time someone uses it. Baseten doesn't build the brain. It rents out the part where the brain answers your question, and investors decided that the renting was worth more than the building. They're not crazy. That's the part worth sitting with. For most of the last 3 years, the entire conversation was about training, who has the biggest model, the most parameters, the best benchmark. But training is a one-time event. It's building the factory. Inference is the electricity bill, and you pay it forever, every time a customer flips the switch. Here's the math that flipped the industry. Inference is now 80 to 90% of a model's lifetime cost. A model is trained once and queried billions of times. By this year, inference is roughly 2/3 of all AI compute. And McKinsey projects it will consume about 93 gigawatts of data center power by 2030. That is a small country's worth of electricity, just to answer questions. So watch where the smart money is running. Amazon just announced it will start selling its in-house Trainium chips, that's Amazon's own AI silicon, to outside customers, taking direct aim at NVIDIA. And Alphabet announced an $84.75 billion equity raise to fund AI capital spending of $180 to $190 billion this year alone. The top 4 tech companies have committed roughly $700 billion to data center construction in 2026. They are not building all that to train a few more models. They're building it to run them at scale for you. Everyone suddenly wants to own the meter, not the invention. And this connects to what we covered Friday. Remember, Noam Shazir, who co-authored the Transformer paper, defected to OpenAI, and the Nobel laureate John Jumper left Google DeepMind for Anthropic. Same story, different layer. The value in AI is migrating away from who invents the thing toward whoever can run it cheapest and best. The talent and the capital are chasing the exact same prize. Now, here is where it gets genuinely strange, the part I want you to bring back to your CFO. Token prices are collapsing. There's a phrase for it, LLMflation. The unit cost of a fixed amount of AI capability falls about 10 times per year. To make it concrete, GPT 3.5 level quality cost about $20 per million tokens in late 2022. By late 2024, that same quality costs 7 cents. That's a 280 times price drop in under 2 years. The thing got radically, almost absurdly cheaper. So your AI bill went down, right? It went up. Way up. Enterprise spending on generative AI went from about $1.7 billion in 2023 to roughly $37 billion in 2025, even as the per token price fell more than 90%. Economists have a name for this too. It's called Jevons paradox. When something gets cheaper, total consumption rises so fast that the bill actually goes up. And there's a new twist making it worse. The latest reasoning models, the ones that think before they answer, burn through 10,000 to 50,000 hidden deliberation tokens just to produce a short reply. Call it the thinking tax. You ask a 1-sentence question, the model writes a 10-page internal monologue you never see, and you pay for every word of it. It's the all-you-can-eat buffet that decided to price itself by the plate and then handed everyone a much bigger plate. And don't assume the deflation rescues you. The price curve is already slowing 3 to 5 times a year through 2027, then maybe 1.5 to 2. As energy and silicon set a hard floor, tokens get cheap. They never get free unless you stop paying for them at all, which brings me to the counter move, and it's the most important thing in this episode. At its developer conference this month, Apple unveiled something called Core AI, generative models that run directly on your device with, in their words, zero server dependencies and zero token costs. In the demo, they ran a 1 trillion parameter model locally across 4 Mac studios. No cloud, no per token meter ticking. And this isn't just Apple's marketing. Practitioners are doing this right now with open weight models. Those are models whose weights are public, so you can download them and run them on your own hardware. Names like Qwen, Llama, Gemma, DeepSeek. People are running serious models on a single Mac Studio with 512 gigabytes of memory, on a Mac Mini, even getting useful speed out of an 8 gigabyte consumer graphics card. The honest framing I like most comes from the practitioners themselves. A local open weight model is like a sharp junior engineer, roughly 5 times your productivity on a well-scoped task. A frontier cloud model like Claude Opus is the senior architect 15 times. Local closes the gap on clear bounded work. It still lags on long multi-step reasoning. So credit where it's due, this is real, and it's earlier than I expected. But let me be the skeptic too. The parity claims are overstated. The real bottleneck isn't speed, it's memory and context length. And the hardware is not free. A serious rig runs $10,000 to $40,000 or more. You're not escaping the bill, you're just moving it. And that's the whole point. Here is my read. The new strategic axis isn't cloud versus local in some tribal sense. It's a cost structure decision you already understand from running a real business. The cloud is OpEx. You pay per use forever, and it scales with your success, which is exactly the trap. Local is CapEx, you buy the rig once, and your marginal cost per query drops to roughly zero. For high volume, always on, well-scoped, privacy-sensitive work, the stuff you do 10,000 times a day, local wins. For bursty, occasional, frontier-grade reasoning, the cloud is still cheaper and smarter. The killer case for local isn't even cost. It's data that legally cannot leave your building. So if I were sitting in your seat this quarter, I'd do 2 things. First, I'd stop asking my team which single model we standardize on, and I'd ask them to build multi-model routing. Send the bulk of routine, repetitive, sensitive work to cheap or local open weight models. Reserve the expensive frontier models for the handful of tasks that genuinely require deep reasoning. You don't hire your senior architect to answer the phones. Second, and tell your CFO this directly, I'd budget for usage growth, not for the falling unit price. The price per token is going down, your bill is going up. Plan for the buffet, not the menu. The companies winning the next phase of AI won't be the ones with the smartest model. They'll be the ones who know exactly where each task runs and who refuse to pay senior architect rates for junior engineer work. That is the YPO Tech Network AI brief for Monday, June 22nd. I am Stephen Forte. If this was useful, send it to a fellow member. I will be back Tuesday with more. Until then, stay sharp.